How do you know someone's serious about something? How do you know? Whether religion, politics, how do you know someone's serious? What are they going to do that they are serious? So if you say anybody at all, right? Don't matter who they are, anybody. There's only two systems they've got. And as soon as they open their mouth, they're going to express their seriousness. Very few people will come from heaven and say, let's establish a system of the Almighty. Very few people will do that. Here now, in this world. Very few people will say of heaven. Serious of heaven and serious in this world is two separate things. Most people express this world and their seriousness. They don't express from above and seriousness. They don't do it. At all. Nobody. So if you're going to start a government system, example, say black slave experience, start a government system of the Almighty according to his laws, his ways. Now serious would be you sit down and plan it with a group of people. Just casual. And just go through the history of your people casually. No emotions. No finger pointing, no blaming. Just natural. No biggie. Just sit down and talk. Your own people, their lack of, their weaknesses, their history, the language they speak, languages they speak, the slave experience, and putting it all right, because it has to be put right. But how many people are going to talk about putting something right? Right? A nation, a country, land, government, land management, people management. Putting a problem right. Government institutions. So if you're talking about serious, and this is how I know people are not serious, they don't appoint nobody to do something. Nominate a female or male to do something within their organization. They don't never do it. They don't appoint a judge. They don't nominate someone to train up as a judge. They don't train people to work in government or start government. They don't do anything serious. Not one single thing. So that tells me they're not serious at all. You take the Messiah, the apostles, the prophets, the saints of the Almighty, the judges of old, Samson, Deborah, and all them people, and even right down to Father Abraham, all blessings be upon him, and his son Isaac, and then his son Jacob, and how serious they were in everything they did, with a passion and a love for the Almighty and his ways. The priests and Levites, the Urim and the Turim. Would you say that's serious or not? The history of the Israelites, good and bad queens and kings. Look at the institutions they did not build. Universities, education, skills, all kind of skill sets, all kind of manufacturing, and sit down and let them intellectuals sit down and talk together, starting with the priesthood, starting with the law, starting with all the trades, metal workers, woodworkers, people that grow things, farmers, construction workers, people that make concrete, whatever, pottery, whatever it is, and sit down and decide all these skills. Sewer system. Sit down and decide something. I'm not talking about what already exists. I'm talking about something like a temple in Jerusalem, that big, and a city that's of the Almighty, that big, or a nation, and building places, and having security, and having military intelligence, and having something up here. Teach the children something of the Almighty and his system. They've got all the people. They're there. They all come on YouTube and express themselves, but they never collect together in a group, together, wanting. They don't do that as a group. Tight. Covenant breakers, sellouts, traitors, right? All them type of people is what's holding back our people, because they're busy doing what they're doing. We have more Judases in our race of people than in any other race of people in the whole entire planet. The sellouts, the traitors, and the covenant breakers, they're the ones in the devil's system of Satan selling out everybody else. You have no progress because there's people stopping it from happening. There is not an organization, as far as I'm concerned, that is so serious. Yeah, it should be kept secret. There should be secret parts of organizations that belong to us. Because if not, then you're exposing yourself. No point sitting down reading Bible. That doesn't do any good. No point doing that. From Bible, get on with it. Organize, build, do something. Buy land, farm, plant trees, plant orchards, vineyards. Look about the map of the world. Look about the areas where people are and change those communities yourself, within yourself. Make your own money. Print your own money. Start your own banking system. Belongs 100% to the people. Now you're serious. But people are not planning that, talking about it, not even thinking about it, nominating not one single person. And I'm saying how it is. You tell me one single person that's sorting out our government, our banking system, our education system. Just one single person doing that. Just one. And there you go. That's the weakness of everything you call Hebrew Israelite, that no one is nominating or training people to do. If you're doing it for the nation, then do it. I'm doing something right now for the good of my people. I'm not doing it for a Babylon system or Roman Empire system or Greek system. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for my people so future generations can know we did something. How are you going to feel that your children and your grandchildren are going to have nothing? World War III and World War IV. That's all they've got to look forward to in the next, 1,500 years? 2 world wars. And that's all they've got to look forward to. What do you want for your children and grandchildren? In these people's system, it's only sin, death, and decay. That's a simple thing. There's no hope in that system at all. So you go to John chapter 1. This is Bible I said don't look at. But if you go to John chapter 1, verse 12 and 13, you'll see right there, that is the spiritual birth of the children of the Almighty. Right there, in those 2 verses. Of the Almighty, angels and children of the Almighty. Right there. The Messiah said it. John chapter 1, verse 12 and 13. So if you start something based on that chapter and verse, I now know you're serious. You go to Revelation, the book of Revelation, and look at chapter 13 and what the devil system of Satan is doing. They're not busy building government of the Almighty in that chapter. It's about world domination, mark of the beast, and nastiness of Satan. Well, you got it already. Tells you about European nastiness. You've got it already. Give unto Caesar which is Caesar's, and give unto the Almighty what is the Almighty's. How plain can the Messiah say it? Devil system, Caesar, world system, and then the system of his father, holy system, creation system. Look how he makes a difference between the two, and same thing in the parables. Nominate somebody to do something. It's easy to sort out 7 institutions of government. Paniel, the angel, in charge of the ministry of repentance. Angel, appointed by the Almighty. Him one. The Messiah is over all, everything. So you have the Father, Messiah, wisdom, and all those in heaven and above the heavens. And you have the angels of the Almighty busy doing what he says needs to be done. Not trying to be clever. Just saying, one institution of government, Paniel, number 1. Priests and Levites, number 2. the government, number 3 in general. People's Council, number 4. Men, women and children and unborn children having rights as citizens to live a certain lifestyle of the Almighty. And then you have your Military Council. That's like your military intelligence, military judges and all them kind of military things. All part of government. Security. Training the law enforcement. Training all those fight terrorism or whatever they're doing. Whatever it is. They decide. So that's number 5. Number 6. The tribe of Judah. The king and the royal family. And all the high up elders of all the tribes. And a little bit Benjamin. Because of Saul and Jonathan. And David's friendship with Jonathan. Not forgetting his children. So all that royalty is there. All the 12 tribes are represented in the same tribe of Judah. Because all the elders and the high up people, of course they sit down and talk together. Of course they do. That's what they do. Throughout history. They support the king and the royal family, which supports the nation. And the government system being as it is, and they make an institution out of it. Now we have prosperity because all the tribes are united. They're all in a government system. Everybody's in the government system. Unborn children, babies, children, young men, women, adults, old age people. Everybody's now in government. They all have government power and all in government. Not excluded, they're in it. And then number 7, institutional government, institutional judges. So the judges are all through the institutions of government. Now number 8 and number 1 really is the Almighty. The first and the last in the government system. So first you start off with the Almighty anyway. He's overall. He says, we do. Now, who's going to say that in the world today? Nobody. Why not? Because up here, they only have devil system. So they can't talk like that. That's how I know somebody is serious or not. First words that come out of your mouth tells me what you are. Now, why am I so concerned about something if it don't belong to me? It belongs to them Khazars that call themselves Jews. If it belonged to them, why am I concerned about that? It's not theirs. I know it's not theirs. So I'm talking about mine belonging to me. So if I'm part of the Israelites, of course I'm going to want to big up my people. Of course I want to see something happen. Of course I do. Of course. And they're plotting and scheming against me, if they do, and against others. 7 government institutions. I've just said them, and it's people, it's farming, it's spiritual stuff, it's universities, it's massive. But it starts with people. Now, where is there an organization doing all that? There's none. There's none. The Messiah's doing it. The Father is doing it. All those in heaven are doing it. Yes, they are. They're doing it. But here in this world here, nobody is. Because if you're talking about planning on building Jerusalem and a temple in Jerusalem according to the Almighty, no one's doing that. Nobody. Not even thinking it, planning it. Not of the Almighty, they're not. So it's going to carry on being a city of evil because of the Khazars buying up the place in 1948 and onwards and control the whole land belonging to Khazars, call themselves Jews. The original people are called N-word, Black Americans, Caribbeans, Latinos, whatever, right? They're not West Africans. We're not going to West Africa to be slaves in another person's government system. Because anybody that goes to West Africa to be a slave in somebody else's government system, they're only using you to build up the country. Ghana wants to use idiot people to build their country up. Just like how they did for America, they can come and do the same for us. Anything you say, only you will be used and abused by a next race of people because you're so thick. You go to West Africa thinking you got something. You haven't. If you haven't got it, it don't belong to you. It's not yours. Does the West Indies belong to black people? No, it don't. Does black America belong to black people? No, it don't. It belongs to slave masters the same way. There is a slavery system still going on. It's economical more nowadays. But it's still up here, ingrained in everybody's head, that we should be as we are. We don't think, oh, let's get back our land. We don't think, oh, let's build our nation up. So King David and a black man today has got nothing in common. Solomon and Moses and all them people in the Bible have got nothing in common with our people today, because they don't think as we think. In Egypt, in bondage, they understood. They come out of it and they was mentally and spiritually weak up here. They weren't prepared up here. Right? They weren't prepared up here. So not being prepared here, and not seeing, and not hearing, and even having trouble here, and in the heart region, they didn't have soundness. So to build a government system, you have to first study. Get the people together and talk about something that is governmental, of your own interest, your own banking system, your own interest rate, your own cost of living. You're not dictated to, you're deciding. Cost of living should be low. Going to work should be low. The cost of going to work should be low. And your wage is reasonable. Not too much, not too little. Right? So the wages are not silly wages. You're more thinking about the future when you go to work. Your family, your house, your plot of land, what belong to you, tribal. And our nation today, this is why it won't happen, like how I'm saying, is because we dispossess at least 15 countries in the world. If we start up as a nation, don't get it twisted. We dispossess people in Africa and in the Middle East. Dispossess them. They don't want us being a nation because they're out as soon as we're in. They're gone. Don't get it twisted. Don't think it's like so simple when people say it. It's not. It's complicated because they've made treaties and they've made contracts and decided things centuries ago. And they're ready now, centuries ago. And we're not even talking about doing something, not even tomorrow. And they're ready hundreds of years ago. They got plans in place to deal with the situation when it arises. Yeah, they're still enemies. But you think they're friend. No, they're not. Diluting the race. That's an easy thing to do, ain't it? Because the women are weak. If the women are weak and the men are weak, then of course the race is going to get diluted. Because no one's sorting out nothing. The men and women are not coming together. They're not talking together. They're not doing it. So you go to a dance and man stare at man, woman stare at woman. Hold on a minute. Where's the woman and the man dancing? Where's that? Where is the man and the woman meeting together? No, it's all satanic nowadays. All gay marriage and all kind of foolishness. Messing with children, all kind of foolishness in the world. And who gets blamed and who don't get blamed. Weak government institutions only produce weak people. No standards. No standards, no high standards. Always low. Basic. To build a nation, you can't build a nation on nastiness. It has to be righteous. It has to be somebody that knows what they're talking about. And have a meeting with people that know what they're talking about. Simple thing. If you're in one country, do it there. If you're in the next country, do it there. If you're in the next place, West Indies, America, Europe, Britain, UK, South America, you can do it everywhere where you are. And then you can collect together later when you get the regional thing sorted out. So African, Middle East, European, South American, Mexico, West Indies, Canada, America, all over, Australia, New Zealand, all over, Philippines, Indonesia, all over, China, Japan, all over. You can do that, unity. How big, how small? Tell the truth and people hear it. Do something and then they see it. It's easy to talk when you're not under pressure because there's people talking in a meeting and the pressure. But when you're on your own, talking, it's easier. But what are you talking and deciding up here? You say you want something for your people, government, land. You look at the times you're living in. You're looking what the Almighty say He want, and how precious the saints are to Him, His saints, not no devil system saints, because there are duplications. The phony, the fake, the imposters. They're there doing the same thing, claiming to be. When the curse is in Deuteronomy chapter 20, as you know, well know, and as the beautiful women that say, and I'm only bigging up the women right now, seriously, but look at me good. I'm bigging up the women because my mother first big up me. What I'm saying to you now, my mother teach me, start me off. My mother, not my father. My mom, Teacher Mary, Antigua, West Indies, Erlin's village. She started me off. Beautiful lady. And my daughters are mixed race. Right, they are. But I still love them, same way. I understand, the racial part of things. I understand that. But as a nation, we can fix that in one generation. So it's easy to fix. One generation, problem solved. Next generation, there isn't no problem on race. Because we're tight, we've got it sorted. These people do everything by design. They want to pollute everybody with their devil's seed. That's all they want to do, but they need the true seed for them to survive. They need that. But that ain't going to help them. Not like how they think. It won't help them. Because the Almighty is not fooled by nothing. He knows what to do. He's got it all sorted. It's spiritual, not flesh and blood. So straight away, you now have no control that claim to be Khazars and Jews. You're outside of the control zone. Because you have no control. None at all. Not in the spiritual realm. You don't know what's eternal about me. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue because that's the Almighty's business. Not yours, not no one else's. His business. The book of Enoch and all the books that people don't see or hear about, there's thousands. Because the best books are hidden from people. Because you're not holy enough, you're not righteous enough to have them books. So people can be reading books they may or may not understand. But if you have a Bible, that's everybody, yeah. But it's not deep, like the library in heaven deep. The Almighty storehouse full of books. Not deep like that, it ain't. But the book of Enoch is a start. Study the book of Enoch and all the other books excluded that are biblical. Not some but idiot decided to write about devil system and try and fool people. And don't read them kind of books. Because if it's devil system, you'll know straight away. Because it's not of the Almighty. If it's about sin, death, and decay, and that's all the book is about, that's devil knowledge and devil system. If it's about eternity and light and righteousness and Holy Spirit and wisdom and the Messiah and the Father, and the people above the heavens or in the heavens, then you know it's of the Almighty. Like you get a book about the ointment of joy, right? The Almighty's ointment. He gives to people. Now that book would be heavy. Heavy. If it's of the Almighty and you don't quench His spirit and you keep to His ways best you can and pray to Him, beg Him. I don't mind begging. Seriously, I don't. He knows my situation. I drink and smoke with certain people and that's it. One person, two people. I don't go too far past that. But I'm not, I do want I don't care about other races like, boy, I got to defend them. No, I care about my people because I want something. Right? I want my own country. Right? I'm not relying on other races of people to do it for me. I'm looking at my own people to do it. I'm not interested in that man's church, that man's bullshit religion. I'm not interested in all that. I'm not. I want my own, what belongs to me, so I can sit down and eat at my own table. And I don't want it mashed up in future generations by corrupt sellouts and traitors and covenant breakers. I don't want them people involved in my business at all, whatsoever. Because laws for them people, yeah, you single them out, make a list of all of them. Don't get it twisted, make a list of them. And those passionate for the people, make a list of them as well. So who wants government? Yeah, put my name up front First name on the paper, want government for my own people and land in Africa and the Middle East. Put my name down, number one, me, Robert Roberts. Don't get it twisted. Me, my mouth. Because I'm serious about it. I don't need no white man to do my thinking for me, because there's nobody big enough in this world to do my thinking for me. Their devil system don't put a smile on this face. Right? It don't put a smile here. There's nothing they got that can make me happy. Nothing. Because sin, death, and decay doesn't make me happy. It don't. Keep it real, it don't. If I'm without the Almighty, then boy, I'm in some deep misery already. If I'm with him, I'm happy. Right? Happy with him. Without him, I'm not. And I'm poking myself in the face because it's flesh and blood. Satan is confident about the way I look. He's confident he's mashed me up. But he's not happy about what I believe in and what I want. He's not happy about up here. No way. Unless I'm corrupted in some way, illness or whatever. He's not happy. Of course he's not. But going back to government system of my people, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to talk about. It's not hard to see. It is. It gives you a headache if you try and do it all, one go. You have to do it quiet and take time and get plenty of sleep. Because I promise you now, your head will be hurting you after you think about everything. It'll be hurting you because it's too much. Overload. And you have to eat and sleep at certain time. Don't try and think you can go all the time. If you're younger and you're ready for all that, fair enough. Train the young people to do it. Train your daughters and your sons to do government system of the Almighty. Train them in the ways of the Almighty. And don't worry about them people. If you have a problem, talk about the problems and find people to solve them. Start using this. Start using it. Right? They kill off enough people in slavery days that know something. Right? They kill them off. They're dead. They're gone early. Singled them out because they didn't want them talking and telling other people nothing. How did all that knowledge survive? Because it's in genetics and it's in the Almighty's will and his prophecy. The stone that licks the statue on the feet in Daniel chapter 2. You know that stone is that come out to the mountain and mash up the statue. Roman Empire, Greek Empire, the Persian and Medes and the Babylonian Empire, the 4 world empires, 2 in the Middle East and 2 in Europe. Mash up the world system. Mash it all up. And devil system along with it. And devil knowledge. Mash it up. So straight the way you have of the Almighty when you see that happening. So what am I talking? Am I talking about propping up the Roman Empire, or am I talking about the stone smashing it on its feet of clay and iron? Who is that stone? Of course it's of the Almighty. Not hard to work out who the stone is and the people that represent the stone and the people involved in the work of the stone. It's not hard to figure out if you know. But you know them when you hear them speaking. Those that are serious are the stone. And those that are not are just world empires, people, and all of that. Fake, imposters, whatever. Their money will not save them. Their gold and diamonds and silver will not save them in the day of trouble. The Israelites' day of trouble is the same as everybody else in the world. But they're saved out of it because they are precious to the Almighty. And they've suffered already. And their leadership right now is false. So the leadership is wrong. Spiritually weak. But those trying, of course. You can't diss a man for trying. But you have to be spiritual and sound in righteousness. I'm not saying I'm a goody two-shoes. I just want my people to prosper. By any means necessary. I don't have a dream. I don't have a nightmare. I just have something I need to say and do. That's all I've got. And you know how it goes with me. To the bitter end. Because I don't want to stand up in front of the Almighty and say I never do anything. Boy, give me something and I hide it in the dirt and give him back when he comes. I don't want to be that kind of person. Not me. My ancestors, my mom, my grandma and her great grandma, Titi, Teacher Mary, Titi and Dar Lady. Yeah. All of them. Antigans, all of them. Even my sisters, my bad sister as well. Anyway, for the future generations, we got to do something. Because the world ain't going to get better until we do something. Or say something. But I've got it all ready for people. And I'm not talking about next man's system. Of the Almighty I'm talking. If it's not of the Almighty, then don't listen to me. Don't hear a word. Because I want better than this. Because this is, well, to me, it's, lacking. It's lack of. It's not abundance. It's lack of. And that lack of, I can feel the stench of it. And again, it's just, no, man. Oh, dear. World War III. Huh? Who survives that? Boy. Anyway, Yah-Israel. One love. Keep it real. Government system. University of the Almighty. Step up above their foolishness and leave them behind. Because once you go on the road to Zion, to the holy spiritual mother, and righteousness and truth and peace, when you go that road, you leave them behind. And they have to catch you up and imitate you. They can't imitate our government system. Listen, they can't do that. They can't. You want to shut them up. Hear what I'm saying to you. Of the Almighty. Right? You want to shut them up. All these sellouts, traitors, and covenant breakers, you want to shut them all up. Listen to what I'm saying. And hear the part about the Almighty. And study good what I'm saying. It's recorded so you can study it. Hear the words. And judge for yourself. Who you going to nominate? Which woman? Because there's no man clever enough. I'm telling you now, there isn't. Which woman are you going to nominate to be a judge? To build up our nation? Which one? Where's she there? Yeah, you feel me? She's not going around doing foolishness when she's sensible up here. Find them quick. And talk to them. And ask them if they're strong for our nation in Africa and the Middle East. It's a worldwide empire I'm talking about. Don't get it twisted. It controls the world. It does. That stone licking the statue on the feet turns into a world empire. Yeah, you feel that though? Okay. Now you know what I'm talking. Yeah. Hey, you want me to talk about the armies in heaven? You want me to talk about the Almighty's endless realm? How dark it is? And how there's no top and no bottom to it, no sides? Endless realm. Endless space. And his creation light in that endless space. And within the creation light is heavens and earth. And the heavens and the earth are new. Yeah, that's a different subject. That's the Almighty business. Too big for me. But I'm privileged. I can say them words to you. Privileged. Honor. The greatest honor I could ever express in words. And I believe it. Can't do it physical. It's only spiritual. But it's of the Father. It's not my business. It's not the big I am. It's the Almighty, the Messiah, and wisdom. Their business. And these people, Trinity, and I'll repeat this anytime to let you know, it's these people, the European religious system and world system, their Trinity is the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And it's a worldwide thing. All religions fit in that. That's of this world. All of them. But of the Almighty, there is no Trinity. It's just the Almighty. And he created. Because him one go from east to west and west to east in the invisible realm. In the invisible. And then he created visible creation. So where he was, he created the heavens and the earth. Later. From where he was. And those people above the heavens. So that's nice to hear and know them things and look about them things. And praise the Almighty for that. But it's for my people I'm doing it. I'm not saying it for me. For my daughters, my people, I'm saying it. And for the women that love the Almighty like the Almighty's mother. Grew up in the temple in Jerusalem. Women like her. Make a little idiot try and copy those type of women. Go ahead, try. They can't, because they're not spiritual. They can't do it. They can't. I'm being serious. They cannot do it. They can't express it. They can't talk about it. Nothing. Because they're only devil system punks. That's why not. If I was a devil system punk like them, I couldn't say what I'm saying now. Yeah, you have to be a devil system punk to behave like them. Khazars calling themselves Jews. What the rest they know about Jew? Of the Almighty. What do they know? Come on, keep it real. What do they know? With their little devil system bullshit. What do they know? They know nothing. That's what they know. Nothing at all. One love, Israel. Peace. Shalom. Yah, Israel, praise the Almighty for all his wondrous works and wonders and signs. Praise him, everlasting. Yah, Israel, the Urim and the Turim belong to the Levites and the priests. One love.